Psychosomatics is a new branch of study which is talking about the connection between the mind and the body to the extent that how one impacts the other. So if you feel energetic, the mind also feels active, but when you're fatigued, the mind also feels fatigued. Similarly, when you feel fatigued in the mind, when you feel a certain inertia setting in, the same is experienced by the body. So psychosomatic studies are aiming at studying the relationship between the mind and the body. There are different kind of psychosomatic medicines that are now medicinal departments that are now operating in Japan and in other parts of the world, looking at how one impacts the other. In the recent lockdown that all of us are experiencing because of COVID, psychosomatics play a huge role. And I say that what I mean is, for example, let's look at fear. Let's look at a scenario that you were on a walk on a normal usual day before the lockdown and even the panic of this pandemic began. And while you were on your evening walk, you met somebody, said hello, had a short conversation with that person and went on with your life. Few days later, you get to know that person has been diagnosed as positive with COVID-19. And suddenly there is this rush of panic that comes through to you. Oh, I was the one who had a chat with him. I may be impacted as well. And what's going to happen now? What will happen to my kids? How will I handle the situation? And you just get yourself into the panic mode. Your body also begins to react like that. Your body may go shaky. You may have a little fever. Stress may lead you to sleepless nights. This is what it does. It's just a conversation you had with someone who's been diagnosed as positive. That does not say anything about you. More than fear, what is important is that you go out and get your test done. And even before going and getting the test done, it's important to just look at the symptoms that you have. Another scenario that is commonly emerging is the stress that people are having by watching television. The more they are getting updates, also watching the internet, the more updates that people are getting about COVID, the scary it looks to them. It looks like a gloomy situation wherein they think there's no coming out of it. So there are people who are scared to the point thinking that once I get COVID, I will not survive. Now this also has, if you begin to think about your survival being low because of a virus attack, the entire body gets into a fight or a flight syndrome. That is where it is important to separate from what is really happening to what you think may happen. Nobody knows the future. We don't know what will happen then. But all we know is today you're safe. And stay in that safety. Both the scenarios that I spoke about are of fear. Once you're in fear, the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. That gets activated. And that is the system that triggers the fight, flight, or freeze mode. Once you're in that system, the good hormones of the body, the endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, their level in the body decreases. And what remains in the body are the stress hormones, the cortisols. And once you have those stress hormones running, the body's immunity goes down. And that is a perfect entry point for the virus. It's a perfect entry point for any disease. Therefore, in order to have a strong body, it's important to have a strong mind. I do want to mention something here. What I'm talking about is strengthening your mind. Separating facts, what is really happening, from the rumors, from your opinions and your fears. I am not talking about positive thinking here. I see a lot of videos, I see a lot of content being written on social media nowadays which talks about positive thinking, which talks about keeping the immune system up and strong so that we do not get COVID. This is something which is right on the periphery. It is not something that works. Positive thinking is very important. It's good to be positive. But it's more important to look at the scenario as if, be careful that your positive thinking is not taking you to the extent of not being able to see the situation, because that is not going to boost the system. It's not going to benefit your body or your immune system. Stay tuned to reality, stay grounded in reality, and take appropriate actions. Just do not let your mind go into the parasympathetic nervous system. It's important to rest, digest, have good food, be physically active, and the body will take care of itself. Thank you.